People from outside still think about Sheffield steel.
Still be maybe a bit of a grim northern town. We're all flat cap and whippets.
Oh my God, it's the northern part of England, so it's probably extremely dark and cold.
But a city that makes a difference worldwide, and I see Sheffield as coming back in a different guise, with a different hat, but definitely with the same impact.
There's an external perception of our city that is actually very different from the reality. Sheffield does keep developing, does keep changing.
I think it needs to represent how the city's moved on and what it's now famous for, so to leave behind some of its Sheffield legacy.
I remember passing down where the steel factories used to be, and now it just looks like plain old. That was their generation and we need to make a new one.
Cities have got to grow, they've got to evolve. You can't just stay and be the same the whole time. And Sheffield was the same for a while, but now it's really started to reinvent itself, and I think it needs to just keep going and grow with that.
The city is absolutely transformed from what it was. The whole city centre is beginning to fill up with businesses.
Places to go and eat, places to go after work, events, festivals, conferences.
I think one of the things that's made a massive difference for Sheffield is the importance of public realm. Things like the development of the Peace Gardens, the whole of the Heart of the City 1 project.
The Heart of the City 2 to the work on the moor.
There's Kelham Island, there's Abbeydale Road, Park Hill is soon to be a whole neighbourhood itself.
Every day I walk through the Winter Gardens and I find it a real kind of inspiration actually. It just sort of really wraps its arms around you every morning, so I do find that kind of quite an inspiration.
We feel integrated and part of the discussion. Together we're building a better Sheffield.
The repurposing of industrial spaces and a kind of change in emphasis from Sheffield being associated with industries such as the steel industry and a kind of move towards the creative industries. And that's kind of borne out and reflected in things that I'm doing with No Bounds Festival, which is celebrating the creative heartbeat of the city.
The whole area within the Cultural Industries Quarter was developed, so we have new streets, new lighting, several new buildings. And really the area here, right in the middle of Sheffield city centre, has come back to life again.
You're almost spoiled for choice now of things that you want to do, no matter what you're interested in. So there's kind of something for everybody now.
It's a city where you can have an impact as an individual. It's big enough that it's got scale, that you can really, really lead an interesting and exciting life, but it's small enough that you feel at home.
This is a global city. The products that are made here go round the world, and it is nice to see that reflected not only in the way we do our business, but also in the lives of the people around here, so they see the benefit of success.
We as a business are all over the world. We've got 14 operations in different parts of the world, but the manufacturing here is what we're about, and this city's great for that.
Sheffield's becoming known as a bit of an edtech hub. Actually, there are more education businesses based in Sheffield than there are based in London, certainly within UK base. And that's absolutely fantastic to see that sort of transition change of actually we're being recognised for stuff beyond manufacturing.
The Fat Cat and Kelham Island kind of re-kicked the what people now call the craft brewing sector, which was the micro-brewing industry. In the ongoing years, and especially in the last 5 years, breweries have increased from a handful to sort of over 20 within the city centre, let alone up to about 50 in the Sheffield city region.
The moor was still a very kind of run-down place, and there wasn't a lot of footfall and that kind of stuff, but you look at it now and it's becoming a main thoroughfare of the city again.
The whole movement from the markets, that's played a big part in people's lives, especially from the retail side.
Even though we loved the old market, there was a need for change.
It was very old, very dirty, very smelly, whereas this is brighter, cleaner. I think this is a lot better.
After the market, everybody else came, so the mall's filling up now.
One of the biggest transformation that I witnessed and I really, really do like is how we value open spaces, how we value the green spaces. It makes people in Sheffield feel a lot more happier, as well as kids getting that opportunity to grow up in a really healthy environment.
It's a place where me and my friends can hang out,
play football and do all sorts of different activities.
1/3 of the city is actually in the Peak District National Park, which is pretty unique for a city of this size. Having that experience of being close to nature is great for people's well-being, and that's a real selling point for Sheffield.
The Peak District was a big pull for me to come and move to Sheffield. It's right on my doorstep. It is a mecca for climbing worldwide.
And just the greenness of the city in general makes it really nice, much nicer than other UK northern cities that I've lived in.
The lungs of the city and its green space are ever more important as ever. You know, it creates something, a safe sanctuary for well-being and health, but also for, as we approach climate change.
Sheffield's seen as a music city.
There's a lot of rehearsal spaces around there, in particular Yellow Arch. It's a great venue. It incorporates people, the community. There's a lot of creatives in Sheffield, and it's great to have somewhere to practice, rehearse and make new material.
Things like Andrew and Eve, we're getting national press, so that's making people think that there's a great queer scene here. I just want to see more representation in the city to make sure that everyone feels included and that everyone is celebrated here.
The most transformational thing that I've experienced in Sheffield is Sheffield Cycling for All, because it's enabled me to be independent, and I can do so much more now. I can get out of my house, do more things. Although I've got a physical disability now, it's led to all sorts.
The way I think we could improve the city is by better transport links, and that really impacts on businesses.
We've got a super tram, which is great, but it only serves one side of the city centre.
I cycle everywhere, and I find the pollution is really quite horrible, and it's very noticeable when you're cycling everywhere.
Decarbonising transport, but I think it's important that that is accessible to everybody. So whether that's bus links or improving active travel, it has to be climate justice. So making sure that it's accessible to everybody.
The things that we need to keep in mind is making sure that we take everybody on that journey with us, that we don't lose sight of those people that maybe don't necessarily have the means to keep up with that pace of change.
The city is only a sum of its parts, and that diversity of people, the people that have moved here, the people that have lived and been born here, that combination makes for a fantastic urban environment and a great city.
And people just become more of a tight community, and they get to learn more about each other's experiences.
Not only it's an extremely lively city with a lot of artists, but also people are very sincere and straightforward.
You go around and everybody says, "Hey up, how are you?" They don't just walk past you.
They believe in collaboration, they don't talk about competition.
We are here to uplift one another and tell our stories for everyone.
Sheffield accepts people, so there are lots of other people come in and they become part of the community, and they become Sheffielders as well.
I came to Sheffield with a pair of pants, and I went full time behind the takeaway. I went to local school. I went to university. I got a job in the steel plant. All that shaped me and to enable me to get to where I am now. All that experience.
Fundamentally, it's the coming together of individuals, different people from different backgrounds, but with one value, and that is that we put people first. We're genuine, we're authentic, we're real, and that's what truly makes our home magical.